Je parle français. I'm ready to speak French right now. I'm thinking, okay, let's speak some English right now.
Maybe if you taught me French growing up.
Take it easy, darling. Listen, I was very preoccupied with so many things as a woman.
I just feel like there's so much pressure as a woman, just knowing how to navigate life.
Right.
Just hearing the voices of like the older generation and my generation of how to do things. When do you settle? When do you focus on your career? It's like one side is pulling me saying like, okay, find your partner, settle down, like find your man. You know, you have to have kids early because you have a ticking, you're literally a walking like time clock, you know? And then on the other side, it's like focus on yourself. In fact, be single, explore, live your life, like focus on your career. Right. So it's like, which one is it? Like,
honestly,
there's just so many different things.
Honestly, you guys are, this generation, women are pulled in so various directions. Yeah. You have the feminists screaming right now, they're out loud. They've always been there. But right now, I see so much pull on women, you know, in terms of, you know, taking care of oneself, one's needs is so important. I say biggest in terms of you being a woman, knowing who you are, spending time with yourself, knowing what you want to do. And there's so much pressure right now. And I see the social media right now, and I see people's views right now, because right now the voices are much louder than my generation. I mean, back then it's like you put the TV on and okay, you hear some few things, or the radio, or hear and say. But right now, your phone, you just keep scrolling. Everyone has a view, an opinion, and also that curbs people's mindset, curbs people's ways of thinking or belief system. I mean, listen, I was a political student. I was heading towards, you know, being a feminist as well. I had professors who were different genders, trans, or whatever. That's just beginning to take place, and the views were so strong on me and to the voice. You hear it all the time, and now you think like, listen, one way doesn't fit all.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
There's no one size fits all.
There's no one size fits all, you know. So even you growing up, you know, as a teenager, you're getting towards your middle 20s, heading towards the late 20s, you know, in terms of.
Hey, I'm still like in that middle.
Okay, calm yourself down.
I have a few more years.
Oh yeah, calm yourself down. But it happens so fast. I mean, you know, right now we were just celebrating.
It feels like I blinked and then like I'm an adult.
Right.
Like sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm really not a teenager anymore.
Exactly.
Like life's actually getting real, and I feel like the decisions I make now are going to impact the rest of my life.
It does.
So would you consider yourself a feminist?
Oh, definitely not. You know, feminist views are quite harsh in terms of, you know, bias concerning men. You know, you have 3 brothers, you know what I mean? They are good. They are good men, right?
Of course, I agree.
They're not ones who are going to, you know, subside and point on views upon women. You know, they're raised to be open-minded and respect women as well.
Definitely.
You know, everyone has got, you know, their purpose, their destinies, what a woman can bring into a relationship. You know, there's a need. There should be a balance, right? In terms of that. So when you're speaking about, you know, at your age right now, you know, you know what did I used to say to you?
You said a lot of things.
One thing I did say to you, you know, honestly, I got married at 22 years old. I know my voice was, you know, resonating 24/7 in your head, everywhere. But however, in terms of like, you know, find yourself, you know, enjoy the gradual process. You know, there's a balance, you know, because, you know, you get to a certain age whereby I think, oh, I missed out on this, you know, but still understanding, hey, you know, what's my path? You know, have a plan, you know, definitely. Sometimes goals tend to veer in different directions.
Of course.
You know,
you can only plan to
exactly,
a certain
but at
degree.
least, you know, you have your foundation, you know.
Of course.
You decided to take the route of university, which fits you well, right? You were happy. You're the one that chose the university.
Oh, yeah,
right?
No, I always knew.
We didn't force you, right?
I wanted to have my own business. I always knew my passions from a young age. I feel blessed in that department because I know for a lot of people, they have absolutely no idea what they even enjoy doing.
Right.
And of course, like, I do think even now, there's so many unexplored areas of like, I don't even think I fully know myself yet. But then a part of me is like, does anyone ever actually truly fully know themselves?
To a certain degree, you know your dislikes, you know your wants, your needs, you understand where you're comfortable at. I mean, in terms of know everything about your purpose, your destiny, you will not know, you have a snippet, you have an idea, you know, and you walk towards that goal in terms of whatever you're doing. So as you said, you were in university in France. You chose to be in France. We gave you an option. Hey, you have America, you have English passport,
true.
you have American, English, French.
Hey, not the government listening. Don't start.
All right, okay, we'll just stop there. But you had, obviously you could have chosen the Middle East. You lived in the Middle East, Saudi, Dubai, especially Dubai.
I'm a child of the world.
Exactly, very international.
Yes.
We give you a perspective. We give you a choice.
Did, and I'm so grateful for that.
Right.
I feel like growing up, what I value the most and what I'm so grateful for is just growing up with such an open mind, being exposed to so many different cultures, understanding there's different ways of life, how different people do things. I feel like that kind of really shaped who I am today. So I'm really grateful for that experience. But what I kind of wanted to mainly talk to you about was you got married very early.
Right.
Very, very early. And, there's certain moments that you've expressed to me that maybe, of course, like everything worked out. I know you're happy, but maybe you would have done things differently if you could go back in time.
Marriage is like this, right? Let's be honest.
So as someone that was so going that ultra feminist route in political science, so ambitious,
right?
Getting married and starting your family early. How did that, what was that like for you? Explain it to me a little bit.
I never planned to be married at 22 years old. And by 23, have, my first child. But before I was 30, I finished all of my children,
Wow.
So in terms of, I had a career plan. I knew what I wanted to do, political science. And, you find love and things happen. And, you can't really cheat nature or your future or whatever choice I made. But obviously I chose to be married to a good man. And the good man too. Nothing's perfect, obviously. So definitely there was some stage of resentment as a woman because what started with the resentment, because obviously I'm there pregnant, giving birth. He's there, working, providing. Your dad is a great provider.
Yes, of course.
We've never lacked of any good thing. He's always there and providing for his family. But then, coming from a very ambitious, grandpa as well, been pushing me, if Margaret Thatcher could be, prime minister, the way I was raised up with grandpa, very strong-willed. He's very, I'm his favorite daughter, of course, as well. Sorry, siblings again. But however, he really pushed me forth. There was no barriers, you can do anything a man can do. So all of a sudden, I'm falling in love, and all of a sudden, things have changing. And you lose yourself. Okay, I love being a mother.
So you do feel like you lost yourself?
Yeah, you definitely for a certain stage lost yourself in terms of, you're there taking care, breeding, feeding.
Breeding?
Yeah, obviously. There was a season whereby, my mindset is okay, have all my children. So then I'll be able to focus, But it was really hard to see your friends who graduated with. They are traveling.
Progressing in their career.
Yeah, progressing in their careers, certifications, you're seeing all those things. And they're truly happy. And they'll come to me and say, hey, Sharon, how's he doing? I'll put a smile on my face. Oh, it's fine, mommy, here and there. But I had to, try to figure out, okay, things changed because I had everything planned, graduate political science, want to work for the United Nations, travel to Mexico or one Spanish-speaking country. And all of a sudden you're married and you're like, okay, I love you, baby, and all that. And okay, I'm pregnant and, everything's at the back. You enjoy the moment and you think, oh, okay, am I left behind? And the culture, the world actually, it's not culture, it's everywhere right now, whereby, there's so much emphasis on, woman power, feminists, and there's a choice to make, honestly speaking. You could be corporate. Yes, it would be fantastic. But there's going to be a sacrifice. If you're corporate, you're having children. Who is going to be taking the children? You have a whole heap of, organic people, lifestyle, helpers, cook and everything else. But there's still going to be there should be a balance, right?
I guess.
So finding that perspective, saying, okay, what do I need to do right now? So I had to, speak to myself, literally. I had these posters that I used to have, those post-its, and they were everywhere around.
Post-it notes?
Yeah, you're right, posting it, just kind of like affirmation for myself. Sometimes, you don't rely on anybody else to be speaking onto you. It starts with you first, right? Certain stages. I know I could be frustrated sometimes whereby I'm looking at you guys, it's a blessing, that I'm having children too right now. Was it the perfect timing? I had no idea, but they're able to give birth,
I mean,
be
it all
married.
obviously worked out beautifully.
Now I look
I
back.
hope.
Of course, I look back and I'm thinking, okay, do I have any regrets? No, I definitely did. But there's time and seasons in my life I'm thinking, oh, I should have waited. Oh, I should have done
So
this.
what would you have done differently? Like, of course, knowing what you knew now, let's just say, like, of course, everything still turned out beautiful in the end. Because I know, like, obviously all your kids came out of this situation and you've made it very clear that you don't regret it because of, the fruit that came from it. But in a perfect life, what would you have done differently? Would you have not maybe married so early? Would you not have even dated at all? Like,
do you know what? There's no ideal or perfect lifestyle. Sometimes things will happen for a reason, and this is your path. This is the choice you made. But if I had to advise anybody, I think sometimes also I got married too young as well. Yeah. I think it's finding yourself, knowing your passion, experiences, you're traveling is great. There's a choice, see me right now and I'm like going through, the 50s, and it's like a new teenage era of freedom. And right now I'm empty nester. I'm like, I'm enjoying life and the freedom. It could be, I'm not going to, say as much, the perfect will is for everybody to be married around 26, late before they hit their 30s, then, get married and focus on the children and so forth. Everyone has got different. Biologically, we do understand as women, it's better to have children when you're much younger.
Yeah.
Right.
That's literally scientific.
Yeah,
no one can, can deny that.
I have right now, and I have many friends who are going through IV treatments, and because they waited, the things have changed over the world, over the times and seasons in life that women are beginning to have the first child late 30s.
Much later.
Yeah,
and then I feel like fertility is even declining because of all the environmental factors too. So
exactly,
it's like even harder.
Yeah, speaking about that. So I'm not going to say, hey, this is the route for any woman. Knowing your body, your anatomy. In terms, I hear that a lot of women too these days are freezing their eggs, so it will make it much easier for fertility.
Yeah, that's a great option.
Yeah, why not do that if you want to, I want to focus on my career. Some people, we just met this lady, when is it, a few days ago, Nigerian. I was really shocked. She said, I'm a pilot. I'm not having no children. And my last relationship, I told the guy that, we saw her, we met her, right, and I applaud that if you say to yourself.
I love when a woman knows what she wants.
Exactly,
and she's just
bold about it.
Everyone is different.
Yeah, and content with their decision, So whatever is for her, for me, and I, please, I want some grandchildren, so you better. There's no no children. I need some bambinos, right? I need to carry my babies. But however, I respect her decision. She said, she boldly said to us that, I don't want to think marriage will be great. Yeah. But
do you think it's also like not even the marriage aspect? Maybe it's also having kids too early, Because I've been in a relationship, but I feel like because obviously I don't have kids, it's different because I can actually do the part of like enjoying life, traveling, and also the benefit of like having a person, you know? So honestly, maybe it's also just like the kids aspect because I feel like you could have been married and maybe if you didn't have kids right away, you would have been able to actually enjoy your marriage.
Could be as well. See, there we go again. The variety is saying that, okay, I could have been married, having children later on. That would have been perfect for me as well, having children. But once I had Joshua, it's like, okay, let's just...
Might as well knock the other one
down. Exactly. Let's get all of it and begin to focus, a different perspective. I said, okay, have the children and begin to focus my career, which I later did. We moved around, 1 minute we're in England.
And the countries that you were in when you were giving birth were also very had that traditional woman role. Like you were in the Middle East.
I was living in the Middle East, yes.
So...
Yeah, mainly all my friends, they were from traditional, root grounded. So it was okay.
Women couldn't even drive when we were living in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, I couldn't drive, I couldn't do anything. It's I had everything.
Traps for real.
Exactly.
That's the real entrapment right there.
Say that again. So in terms of, there was ways whereby sometimes I'm very frustrated. I'm thinking, okay, I should have done that. But we made that perfect decision. It's funny enough, your dad and I came to say, hey, I've got this opportunity in the Middle East. What do we think we should do? Okay, let's pray about it. Let's, we are quite involved.
I like that you both made the decision.
Exactly.
I think whenever people have these conversations, they're also thinking of this extremist point of view. Like when you now say, oh, even I got married early, I started my life early, they just see like all the extreme negative sides.
Right, yes.
Even in terms of like, you know, the feminist, like I wouldn't label myself like as a textbook feminist, but I do have certain feminist views, but I just don't agree with like the modern version that's, you know, super extreme, 50-50, you know, really dismantling the core values of what make a man and a woman a woman. But that's what I personally think, because I know what I want. I would want in a partner. I know what I want out of life. I know the type of treatment I want. I already know, like, I can't be doing 50-50. Like, why would I hustle as much as a man? But everyone is different. If a woman really loves the game, I think they should go for it.
I remember sometimes where your dad was waiting for somebody to transfer, and, you know, we moved around to various places as bank. Well, I don't know if for tax purposes, let me just leave it down.
Not too much.
We're about waiting for a transfer, and I was like, hey, okay, I've got it, you know.
Yeah.
I'll take care of, you know, whatever needs to be taken care of until you know, you're sorted out. I've done it before, you know, in terms of, so we're not like saying, you know, when you say 50,
you could never contribute.
Yeah, contribute or whatever it is, at time and season, things will happen as well. So we can't really be put in a box, you know, as women, you know, and it's kind of narrative, and this is how it's going to be. You know, people go through some traumas and begin to inflict it into, you know, their marriage, into the man, into the household, which is really kind of selfish if you really think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
You understand, you know. So whatever is, you know, the English say whatever is good for the goose is not good, is good for the gander. You know, it's a saying that no, it doesn't really work out this way inclined. But however, I think for a woman, it's so imperative, you know, spending time with yourself, in your goals, your ambitions. Yeah, if a man comes as well, you're still able to, you know, take time to have kids, or take time to say, hey, we're planning to have kids in the next 3 years. So right now, let's focus on that. I mean, it's a good planning, you know, for your mental state as well. Because, I mean, you know, most times, sorry, I was frustrated with you guys, you know, like I was not really happy with myself. Then
maybe it just,
which is really unfair. I'm not condoning.
And you did say that, like, obviously dad did not prefer you working, and he made that very clear.
He did not. Your father made sure, like, you know, did not want to work, because obviously it was away most times.
Yeah.
So me just saying that I'm working from 9 to 5, and who's going to be picking up, and who's going to be doing that, you know?
And he's very protective of us.
They're overly protective, you know. If you guys coughed, we're in a hospital right now.
Yeah,
if we sneeze,
I remember anytime you were gone, which was like very rarely.
Yeah, I remember what time
I could just be like, my stomach hurts, or like, oh, I have a runny nose, it's just allergies. He's like, oh, let's go to the hospital.
Yes.
I was always in the hospital whenever I was a dad.
Every time it was babies, you guys, I was away with, you know, there's a quick thing that he will do. I mean, which is, you know, I'm glad that, you know, he's really fully involved, his children and everything else. But I you know, I look back and thinking, I think I was just too harsh on myself, you know. I was too strict with myself. I should give myself a breathing space and say, it's okay, you know. Yes, being around friends who are very highly ambitious as well. I celebrate my friends. You know, not if they're doing well, I'm like, not because I'm unhappy, so because I have to be really, no, I don't do no jealousy or anything like that. I'll support them all the way. But however, I'll become really analytical, reflective, and say, okay, what's next? What can I do next? And, you know, we moved around as well. You know, 1 minute we were in England, Dubai, Saudi Arabia,
it's impossible
Nigeria.
To build a career base as well if you're just
so
going
I tried my best, you know, in terms of, like, you know, getting certifications, working in Dubai. I worked in the British International School. I was working there as a PA to the headmistress, you know, it was nice, you know. So
didn't you also do teaching a little bit here in
Nigeria?
I had forgotten about it, and I was telling Rachel recently, and I was like, oh,
I was teaching French. I was teaching French at a school, so which was nice. I always find something to do, you know, and to be, you know, active. You know, my cognitive mind needed to do something else. So it's, you know, in terms of, like, you know, some women, I've seen women like whereby, I mean, remember in Florida? No, Tampa, remember? Cool. That your friend, that was mom, that was always drinking. Frustrated, always drinking. And you guys were even drinking her wine as well. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I was not that young.
Yeah, you know, I was around, you know, ladies, you know, on anxiety pill. I mean, America was like a wake-up call. Like, you know, they take you serious.
They'll medicate you for
They'll
everything.
medicate for it. You're depressed, have some Xantex? What is it called?
No, like, that's, I don't even
There's
know.
so many.
I think that one is for something else.
Yeah, I mean, knowing friends of mine, they were like, we'll be going out for like brunch.
We'll
drop you guys, and it's like, Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm have to take this. We're just dropping the kids off and we're going to get some brunch. Is there any wine? Is there anything else?
Probably because they need a break.
Yeah, honestly. So
You know?
I looked at that path and like I was in the midst of this ladies, miserable, you know, comfortably, financially comfortable. You know, it's a private schools and they were the cars they drive and everything else. But just sitting in among them, I'm looking around, I was like, I don't want to end up being like that. And usually, most times, I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, I'm the youngest. I'm like, you know, I had no role models, you know. I'm like, they are, what's the word? This and that, and, you know, really depressed. I was like, no. By the time I finished having brunch with them, I was like, I was going to probably need some.
You're going to need them pills too.
Those pills as well, just nagging and talking, you know. So in terms of like, you know, I said to myself, I don't want to end up being like that. No, you know, I want to be hands-on. Okay, so whilst, you know, I'm with you guys, I'll get certification for this and that. And by the time you guys were in school full-time, I mean, I loved America. I mean, from Florida.
Yeah.
Once I got my papers, I got back to do my passion, you know. I was born into real estate, you know. Like,
and when we were older, you actually got to do that.
Yeah.
You know? Of course, like, you know, while
Right.
you're still raising us, you couldn't like fully.
No, fully commit.
Yeah, but you
know,
still.
fully.
I think you were the perfect, in my eyes. Of course, especially the early days, because I was too young. I never thought of mommy as like, okay, business lady or, you know, work and stuff.
No,
You're
always
just
think
my
about
mommy.
Yeah, mommy cooking for you guys, making the food, and I cannot repeat the same food I cooked the night before. Yes.
Yeah, we had you on the strict program.
Exactly, like.
But you seemed happy doing it.
No, I love to cook. I was really, especially, you know, wanting about your diet and, you know, your mental state, making sure you guys are comfortable, happy. And also, I noticed how we kept on moving as well, affected you in certain areas as well. So I just want to create a stability environment for my kids to strive, right?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And I was willing to do that. And
yeah, I think it's also different because even like, you know, later on when you started, not even like the early stuff with like the PA at school and stuff, but when we were older and you were, you know, you're more like entrepreneurial, I would say, especially with real estate. Yeah. So I think that also gave you more freedom and flexibility.
I don't think your dad would let me work for anybody.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like most women, what they're going to do is like be employed, right? So that's a completely different dynamic to begin with because you're accountable to someone, you don't get to choose your own hours. If you take too much time off, if you have too many emergencies, guess what? There's a whole line of people waiting to replace you. You also were blessed in the sense of you got to work, you know, on the family business, on the real estate, on all like your projects and side quests at your own timing as well. And it wasn't like something that was like a physically demanding for you to have to like show up somewhere every day. You know, everything was just like on WhatsApp, like WhatsApp deals.
Exactly, honestly speaking, and you. Sometimes growing up as well, you know, going through the process, you're like, okay, I need to be less hard on myself, you know, let things happen, you know. There's times and season, and sometimes we're in this season, we're like, oh my goodness. And I'm glad that I enjoyed being a mother, honestly speaking. And let me tell you something, I could tell the difference between, remember I used to say to you, between certain people's, you know, families, like women who went out to work, and their children, when you guys used to come together, family members or friends or whatever, there's a difference.
Honestly, even like growing up, the friends that I had whose mothers would work, I could also see the difference. Of course, like I'm sure like there's a way to make it work, but I could see the difference.
There's a difference, honestly.
I hate to say it, but
there's a clear difference between a child
that
mother is fully involved and child that mother is really busy with work or trying to balance. I'm not, you know, being any way, you know, downsizing or really looking at someone's, you know, perspective about I want to go out to work and still be a mother. But however, when you put two children together, there's a difference. There should be even research about it.
Yeah,
because
I'm sure
we saw that. We saw that.
But another thing is like just based on, you know, my generation, what I'm hearing from my friends is like, you know, there's still those traditional values, or I feel like as women right now, we want the benefits of like the traditional values, you know, being taken care of, not having to worry about bills, having that stability. But then at the same time, we hear all the horror stories of, oh, I did this, but now I can't leave because I don't have the resources to leave. I don't have the finances to leave. Or now I'm tied to this man. So it's trying to build just enough for yourself to be able to, you know, have something to fall back on and not being too reliant on a man and actually like being able to hold yourself down while also, you know,
things
being
would have
able
been,
to like fully, you know, have a family and raise kids. 'Cause
right.
sadly to say, I hear more bad stories than good. I mean, look at the divorce rates right now.
Right.
So it's like from a woman's side, it's like even if you want, you know, to maybe like get married early and focus on your family, if that truly is what you want to do, it's like you really can't do that because of all the stories you hear. Okay, now you're in like a custody battle, you're in a divorce, he was the breadwinner, you're left with nothing.
Come on. So what do you have for yourself as well?
Yeah.
You know,
so it's like you have to be able to do both in a way now, because it's like you also have to have like something, even if it's something small, you need somewhat of a career.
Goodness, it's like it's never fair for a woman. The pressure is so harsh, right?
But let's give some credit to the men real quick. You know, I have brothers, so I feel like I have a soft spot for men just in general. I recognize the immense, of course, like women have so many pressures, like arguably a multitude of more pressures. But I will say it is a big pressure to have to like financially take care of your family to like the level of like,
I used to repeat to your brothers, I was like, listen, you guys need to work hard. You have to provide for your wife.
Lot.
She has to be working. I said, how about she's pregnant? What would happen in terms of that? So to me, honestly speaking, I keep telling my boys, the biggest flex for any man is to tell a woman, if you want to work, work. If you don't want to work, don't work.
Yeah, that is actually the biggest flex.
For any man, honestly.
Honestly.
So I begin to, for years, you know, I had to have really horrible comments from other women or family members like, so, woman of leisure. You know, I used to find it so condescending, right? But then I begin to understand, listen, I'm so blessed.
I am a woman of leisure.
You know, when I begin to understand, because they're working 9 to 5, taking care of the kids and everything else. And I'm like, you know, we're traveling as a family. We travel, didn't we? We have great, you know, experience.
A lot of family vacations.
Yeah, a lot of family vacations. We traveled around the world with you guys. You've seen it all. And I just come back, you know, see family members or people like, oh, woman of leisure, you know. And you're thinking that, you know, is a condescending. I'm thinking that day, I was like, no, I'm actually blessed.
You are.
That I have the choice, that I have a man who tells me that, hey, you can work or not work, but obviously your dad was not pushing me to work too. That's another topic for another day, you know?
He's a Nigerian man now. Exactly. He wants you to relax, be taken care of.
No, he did not want me to work.
On the kids.
Yeah, he did not. Your dad did not want me to work at all, you know? It's just, hey, I remember one time as well, I wanted to work for ECOWAS. Let me just say that he knows that already. Got a job offer as French speaking, traveling to French countries for every month. I'll be away for a week or two, something like that. And I said to him, I really want to work, I want to get the experience, and the pay and the whole package. Your dad actually said no, and paid me every month.
Hey,
yes,
okay, that's good. That's the way to do it.
But do you know what? It was not happy. I thought that, you know, that was a blackmailing, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of that, I was really angry, but I didn't say no to the money too, obviously.
Yeah.
But however, you know, he wanted me, now that I'm much mature and looking back, it was not something, you know, manipulative. He just wanted a security for his children. He was highly protective, highly loving for his children. He wanted to make sure that I'm present for his children, which, you know, I look back, you know, I was probably, you know, I was angry, frustrated, screaming and shouting. But then, you know, we had some horror stories as well with the nannies, right? Come on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Come on. I was presently, but I still had, you know, issues with nannies. Remember the one in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, she would like beat me.
Yeah,
and
honestly.
Then console me.
Yeah, honest, like, and I'll be right under the roof as well, you know? Oh, listen, anyway, I'm glad your dad held me down because I was going to beat her up, rip that hair off it, you know, her hair,
yes.
Honestly. So I've seen the ones, you know, coming in as well. And, you know, so can you imagine if I was hardly being around, I had to be away all the time. And yeah, let's be honest, you know, when we're in Nigeria, most of your school friends were raised by their nannies.
Yeah, even in the Middle East.
Yeah, in the Middle East too. Yeah. They're raised in the nannies.
It's
Middle
true.
East, Africa, they're raised by their nannies. The mom will come
even when the mom is present.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of that, you know, I look back and thinking, no, I've got no regrets. Absolutely no regrets, you know. But would I have done something different? Yes. Make sure, you know, get yourself certified, do things that you can, that needed to be done for construction, for this, non-stop. So keeping current. So when I'm ready to go in to that field, I'm ready,
I
fully
think
qualified.
you did a phenomenal job.
Oh,
like
thank
even
you.
in high school, you know, you getting your real estate license and
Right.
working on all the projects
Right.
and stuff. I always looked up to you in that aspect. And
Oh.
even though I obviously, like, you had kids early, just from my perspective, of course, as your daughter, I have incredible memories of childhood. Sometimes even when I talk about it, like, to other people, I'm like, let me not say too much, because I don't want it to seem like I'm bragging or flexing, but I truly think I had an incredible childhood. I have nothing but good memories. You know,
Good.
you made sure I went to the best top private schools. You made sure we had everything.
Yeah.
And I still got like the nurturing mom, you know what I mean? Like, that was always there at home. Came home to cook meals every single day,
Aw.
laundry done, even like room clean, even when we had left, you know, Africa and the Middle East. So
Right.
and then, you know, as I'm getting older, seeing you focus more on your passions, even being involved as a family, like making it more of like a family business now that we're all older.
Yeah, right.
So I just
Yeah.
feel like I truly got to see all sides of you. And even now, you know, we have the non-profit together.
Come on, let's talk about that.
You know, the family projects we're working on. I think
Right.
it's absolutely beautiful and incredible.
Right.
Like,
It
to even
is.
be able to do it with each other.
And for you to have the choice to say, hey, I don't want to really work, but I want to work for the family.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know,
Listen,
what
I'm the side quest queen. I can't commit to one thing right
No,
now,
she
but
can't.
I just love just having the freedom to. I'm blessed. I can wake up and say, okay, you know what? I want to get into this. I want to work on this. Okay, let me be involved in this thing that, you know, my parents are working on at the moment.
Right.
Let me involve myself. I
Yeah.
think that is beautiful. I love working with family. We can trust each other. We can be open. We can be honest.
Yes.
And I don't know. I don't know anything else. So
Exactly.
to me, it's like best case scenario.
So I'm glad I was an entrepreneur and waited for all these years as well. So you kind of say all routes, it's for just this person or that person. It's just really finding out what works best for you. But remember that, you know, put yourself first, you know.
Yes.
Because so much time women will find so much resentment because, you know, they didn't do anything for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even like with some people that I know, even some friends in my life, they did do that of like exploring, even like maybe not committing to a person, dating around. Like, let's just be honest, a lot of
Okay.
women are dealing with this, I think. And as they start to approach their 30s or like even getting into the 30s, all of a sudden there's a big rush. And maybe on the career side for some of them, they didn't really establish themselves as much as they thought they would when they were younger.
Right,
so
right.
it's kind of like now you're not really left with much of a career, and you also didn't really prioritize like
Right,
settling with
come
one
on,
person
right.
and building with a person. So it leaves you in a dilemma where you're like, damn, I don't really have much going for myself in both departments, career and relationship. And then you're gonna rush. And then I feel like a lot of women also, there's a stigma that women, you know, settle early on and they didn't explore enough. But I feel like it's the same for more mature women too. It's like naturally as you get older, like, you know, there's studies on this. The older you are as a woman, the less your desirability. A man will
It's
always
so true.
prefer
Come
a younger
on.
woman
Come
in the
on.
same shoes, unless like you
Come
really have
on.
it together.
And that
you
is
have
so-
great character. Like
come
you have
on.
to have more attributes
Come on.
when you are older, because
Come
it's
on.
like, as a man, it's like, okay, why go for you when I can go for
Yeah.
a younger version of you?
Exactly.
Especially when there's not much comparative.
And
like,
some women
differences.
forget that too.
Yes, they
Honestly
forget
speaking,
themselves.
They forget themselves, like, okay, so much, okay. So you need to be really
And then
balanced.
they start settling.
Yes.
I see some of my friends settling, and I'm just like, damn, you're really not left with much options.
Right.
And of course, like a lot of it is character development, other personal things that, you know, there's so many different avenues, there's so many different aspects of the conversation. But I do see a form of like settling, because
Yeah.
the market
Yeah.
is not, it's not giving, you know?
It's not marketing and it's not
It's
working.
not.
No, it's right. It's not my thing. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of that, so there is things like, you know, we need as women as well. You need to remember that. Listen, when you get to your 30s, you're not prime no more.
Yeah,
no,
it's just the reality.
You're not prime no more. So that's the rest whereby they're looking for the early 20s to the, you know,
Mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s. After that, you know, men.
Yeah, there's still options, but
Yeah, there's
your
still
dating
option.
pool drastically decreases.
Exactly. You know, for everybody, and in terms of like, you know, going through a relationship much later as well. Like, okay, I'm ready to, you know, you've got your career, got your accolades. You think, okay, great, this is the time to
Exactly.
settle, find a husband. I mean, most of my friends are with divorcee or men who are, you know. There's nothing wrong with divorcee. My husband's a divorcee too. Okay, so people come at me right now. But things happen. But however, that's the reality in life as well.
And then of course I have brothers, so like I've had the male perspective. It's like, you know, sometimes they also feel like a woman maybe had too much experience because they were on the market for too long as well. So it's like, okay, yes, you have all these great attributes, but maybe life has beat you up a little bit too much, you know what I mean? Like, you've had a bit too many experiences, you know, because there's both sides. That's like, oh, you didn't live enough.
What type of
and then there's
experiences?
like,
Hold on.
maybe you lived a little bit too much.
What type of experiences are you talking about?
You know, even just with like, maybe naturally you're going to have more partners. If you are like, you know, not saving yourself for marriage, you're also going to have more sexual partners.
Hold on, is that what you guys call body counts?
Yeah, like you're going to have more bodies. Like, even though it's not even just about that, it's just like you've had more experiences, and most of the time, obviously, like those experiences didn't work out because you're still single.
Right.
So life just naturally has beat you up a little bit more. You're coming in more defensive with more trauma, you know, more
say the word
negative
again.
experiences.
Trauma, yes.
Your guard is more up, you're more aggressive, but then like you're trying to rush, and then the guy's like, just relax. But like, even if you're like, oh, I don't want kids yet, it's fine, I can wait. In the back of your mind, it's there, and it's influencing all of your decisions.
Right. For women these days, I think there's so much, you know, decisions that we need to think about, because that will create the foundation, the narratives to where you're going to end up with as well. So honestly, I think for women it's not easy. You have your brothers too, so I'm not going to
it's
side.
It's not easy for both sides, and
both sides.
People do need to give men more grace. Please give men more grace. They're trying.
Yeah,
There's a lot of pressure. Women are a lot more materialistic. All they care about is what you can buy for them, what you're going to do for them, how you're going to boss me up. So I feel like for men too, the dating scene is tough right now. Like
it is.
Finding a woman that, you know, who doesn't want a nicer life, who doesn't like nice things, but that should not be the forefront in what you're going into relationships with.
Definitely.
All right, I think we touched on so many points, but if you could talk to your younger self, if you can give advice for a gal like that's freshly 18, just stepping into her womanhood, hearing, you know, some people say, focus on yourself, girl, don't be tied down to no man, live your life, explore, date, travel, which usually comes with maybe too many even male, you know, experiences. Or on the other side, you know what, when you find someone settled down, it's not worth it. You know, the grass is not green on the other side. When you find somebody, like, cherish them, you can build with them. Which side are you leaning towards? What advice would you give? Because even me, I don't know. Like,
to me, number one is Isabelle. Definitely, there's a time and a season whereby Isabelle needs to find herself, know herself, create a foundation. I mean, in any businesses, you need to create, you know, whereby a contingency plan in case things doesn't happen that way. So you need to fall back on something. For any woman out there, I think financial literacy is number one. It's key. Yeah. It's so key for you to understand financial literacy and able to apply it to your life, and knowing it, in case anything happens, I've got this to fall into it. So what would you do financially? Okay, so what kind of work, entrepreneurial, any way whereby they'll give you.
Opportunities now.
There is.
There's so many ways to make money online.
Right.
It's, you know, it's not like before where you actually had to go and clock in. So I think if a woman even really wants that, there's ways to find it.
Okay,
you know?
so financial independence and literacy is key for any woman. I'll advise you to do. And also as well, enjoy your life. Yeah, but be advanced. I don't smile at me right now. She's one girl that enjoys her life too much. I mean, a balance, you know what I mean? It's good to, you know, to travel. It's good to, you know, come back and, you know, studious or working on a business or family or whatever it is, you know. So it's just really figure out what you enjoy doing, and also not everyone could say, okay, I enjoy doing this, but obviously you've got bills to pay in terms of that. But however, you know, a work balance that will make you content and happy.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
That's all I like to say.
Love you.
I love you too much.